America was not founded by heroes in wigs. It began with chaos, blood, betrayal, and fear. And here's what they never told you in school. Picture this. It's the 1760s. You're living in America, but it's not really America yet. You're just a colonist, British, loyal to King George III, sitting thousands of miles away in London. And here's the thing. Britain just fought a massive war, the French and Indian War. They won. But wars are expensive. So Britain looks at the colonies and says, you know what? You're going to pay for this. No vote, no say, just pay. Taxes on everything, paper, tea, glass, sugar, even playing cards. The colonists, they're furious. Because here's the problem. They have zero representation in British Parliament. Taxation without representation. That phrase? It's about to start a war. Britain passes the Stamp Act. Every newspaper, legal document, even dice, needs a British stamp, and you have to pay for it. The colonists lose their minds. Protests erupt. British officials get tarred and feathered. Yeah, that actually happened. Hot tar, feathers, public humiliation. Britain backs down, but they're not done. Fast forward to 1770. Boston, a crowd is harassing British soldiers, throwing snowballs, rocks, insults. Tensions are boiling. Then, bang! The soldiers fire into the crowd. 5 colonists dead. The Boston Massacre. The propaganda machine kicks in. Paul Revere creates an engraving showing British soldiers murdering innocent people in cold blood. It spreads everywhere. The colonists are furious. But Britain still doesn't get it. December 16, 1773. A group of colonists disguised as Mohawk warriors board 3 British ships carrying tea. And they dump 342 chests of tea into the harbor, thousands of pounds worth, just gone. The Boston Tea Party. Britain's response? The coercive acts. They shut down Boston's port, destroyed their economy, sent more troops. The colonists called them the intolerable acts. And that's when everything changed. Because now they weren't just angry. They were ready to fight. April 19, 1775, Lexington, Massachusetts. British troops marched to seize colonial weapons stored in Concord. But Paul Revere and others have already warned the colonists. At Lexington Green, 77 colonial militiamen stand in formation. Facing them, 700 trained British soldiers. Someone fires a shot. No one knows who. The shot heard round the world. 8 colonists die. The British march on to Concord. But on the way back? Thousands of colonial militiamen ambush them from behind trees, walls, buildings. The British retreat turns into a bloodbath. The American Revolution has begun. But here's the problem. The colonists are not ready for this. They're farmers, merchants, blacksmiths. They don't have uniforms, barely any training, and they're going up against the most powerful military in the world. June 1775. The Continental Congress makes a decision. They need a commander, someone who can unite the colonies. They choose George Washington. Not because he's the best general, but because he's from Virginia, a southern colony, and they need the South on board. Washington takes command of the Continental Army outside Boston, and he realizes they're doomed. No money, no supplies, soldiers leaving whenever they feel like it. Early battles, disasters. By December 1776, Washington's army is falling apart. They're retreating across New Jersey. The British are crushing them. Many colonists think it's over. Then, Washington does something insane. Christmas night, 1776, Washington crosses the icy Delaware River in the middle of a snowstorm. He attacks the Hessian troops, German mercenaries fighting for Britain, in Trenton, New Jersey. Total surprise, total victory. It's a small battle, but it changes everything. Because now, the colonists believe they can actually win, but they still need help. Enter France. France hates Britain. They lost the French and Indian War, remember? They want revenge. So they secretly start helping the colonists, money, weapons, supplies, but they won't officially join the war. Not yet. They need proof the colonists can actually win. October 1777. Saratoga, New York. American forces surround and defeat a massive British army. 5,000 British troops surrender. France sees this and says, Okay, we're in. February 1798, France officially allies with America. Now, the British aren't just fighting farmers, they're fighting the French Navy, French troops, French money. But the Americans are still suffering. Winter 1777-78. Valley Forge, Pennsylvania. Washington's army camps for the winter. No food, no warm clothes. Soldiers are dying from cold, hunger, disease. Some are wrapping their feet in rags because they don't have boots. 2,000 men die that winter. But the ones who survive? They become a real army. A Prussian officer named Baron von Steuben trains them, teaches them discipline, tactics, how to fight like professionals. By spring, they're transformed, and the war starts turning. But here's what they don't tell you in school. Not everyone wanted independence. Historians estimate 1/3 of colonists were patriots fighting for freedom. 1/3 were loyalists still supporting Britain. And 1/3. They just wanted to be left alone. Families were torn apart. Brother fought brother. Neighbors turned on each other. Loyalists had their homes burned, were tarred and feathered, driven out of towns. This wasn't a clean, unified revolution. It was a civil war. And here's the darkest part. While the colonists fought for liberty and freedom, slavery still existed. 500,000 enslaved people in the colonies. And the Declaration of Independence? It didn't free them. Thomas Jefferson wrote, "All men are created equal." He owned over 600 enslaved people in his lifetime. George Washington fought for freedom. He owned enslaved people. The British actually promised freedom to enslaved people who fought for them. Thousands of black Americans joined the British, hoping for liberation. The American Revolution was messy, complicated, hypocritical. It wasn't a fairy tale. It was war. October 1781, Yorktown, Virginia. Washington, with help from the French, traps British General Cornwallis. Cornwallis surrenders. The war is effectively over. The Treaty of Paris is signed in 1783. America is officially independent. But the story doesn't end there. Because these 13 colonies, they're broke, divided, barely holding together. They still have to figure out what kind of nation they're going to be. That's another story. But this is how America was founded. Not by perfect heroes. By flawed, desperate, determined people who fought a war they had no business winning. This isn't just how America won a war. This is how a broken rebellion became a nation.